Welcome to Earth Archives. During the Age of Discovery, countries such as Spain, France, and the United Kingdom transported large amounts of gold and silver from Central and South America. Spain, in particular, used this to issue a large number of silver coins. However, due to weather problems, many ships perished at sea. In the end, the famous one is the Spanish gold fleet. Let's talk about this story today. Before the show starts, please subscribe, like, and turn on the little bell. If possible, leave your thoughts. This will help the growth of the show. Without further ado, let's officially start. The Spanish gold fleet that has been sleeping on the bottom of the sea for more than 300 years is particularly eye-catching. So how many treasures are there in the gold fleet that has been sleeping on the bottom of the sea? According to historical records, the gold fleet sleeping on the seabed is located in the Vigo Bay of the Atlantic Ocean. In 1702 AD, a Spanish fleet was intercepted by the combined fleet of Britain and the Netherlands while transporting gold and jewelry from the South American colonies to the country. The golden treasure sleeping under the sea. In order to prevent this treasure from flowing into the hands of the United Kingdom and the Netherlands, the Spanish burned the entire fleet in Vigo Bay in the Atlantic Ocean, and the treasures on board sank to the bottom of the sea together. The destroyed Spanish gold fleet has been sleeping on the seabed for more than 300 years. Over the past 300 years, countless treasure hunters have gone to Vigo Bay in the Atlantic Ocean to salvage treasures. But most of them returned empty-handed. So did this Spanish gold fleet have any treasure? The experts' words are shocking. Not only do they exist, but the number is so staggering that even 5,000 horse-drawn carriages cannot pull them all. First, the origin of the Spanish gold fleet. In the 16th century AD, with the rise of the British fleet, Spain's position as maritime hegemon was shaken. This kicked off the life-or-death duel between Spain and Britain for maritime supremacy for many years. Perennial fierce battles at sea put a strain on Spain's domestic finances. So King Philip V of Spain ordered the local governments of Spain's colonies in South America to secretly transport huge amounts of gold and jewelry exploited and robbed to the country. Spanish South American colonies. On June 12, 1702, a fleet of 17 Spanish galleons set sail from the port of Havana for Spain. Because this Spanish fleet was loaded with gold jewelry worth tens of billions of francs, history called this special Spanish fleet the Gold Fleet. Regarding this ocean voyage of the Golden Fleet, my point of view is that it was during the war between Britain and Spain for maritime supremacy. The Spanish fleet carrying such a huge amount of sea treasures would definitely be attacked by the British fleet on its way back home. This decision of King Philip V of Spain is undoubtedly unwise. The trip of the Gold Fleet without fleet protection will be full of dangers. Secondly, the British-Dutch fleet attacked. After the Spanish Gold Fleet set off, it began its special mission. When the huge Gold Fleet arrived at the Sea of the Azores Islands, the British-Dutch joint fleet consisting of 150 ships appeared in front of the Spanish Gold Fleet. In order to protect the treasure and complete their mission, the Spaniards quickly fled to Vigo Bay in the Atlantic Ocean for shelter. Because it was a military fortress in Spain's overseas colonies, the Anglo-Dutch combined fleet knew the importance of this gold fleet. In order to get the treasure on board, they desperately attacked Vigo Bay. The soldiers of the combined fleet attacked the Spanish fortress with their eyes bright. At the critical moment, the Queen of Spain ordered people to transport part of the treasure on the ship in carriages and take the land route directly to Madrid, the capital of Spain. Not long after, the Spanish army in Vigo Bay was defeated by the Anglo-Dutch fleet. A large number of Anglo-Dutch soldiers began to land, preparing to rob the gold jewels on the gold fleet. At this time, the Spaniards were also furious. In order to prevent the Anglo-Dutch coalition from succeeding, they directly burned the gold fleet. The gold and jewelry that had not been transported away were also buried in the sea with the ship. In this fierce battle for the treasure, King Philip finally paid for his stupid decision. If this huge batch of treasure falls into the hands of the British, the time for Britain to replace Spain as the maritime hegemon will be advanced. After the Spanish gold fleet sank into the sea, the British quickly went to the seabed to salvage it, but found nothing. The unwilling British army sent people to salvage many times and finally returned empty-handed. So, does the gold fleet have any treasure? Experts suggest based on historical records that the gold and jewelry that the Spaniards transported from the ship were intercepted on the way and 1,500 carriages of gold and jewelry were robbed. At that time, there were about 5,000 carriages of treasure left on the gold fleet. This number added up to, conservatively speaking, 5,000 carriages would not be able to pull it all. Since the gold fleet sank into Vigo Bay in 1702, it has attracted countless treasure hunters to salvage it for more than 300 years. Some people have indeed salvaged a considerable number of gems, but most people still return empty-handed. Nowadays, the gold fleet and jewelry that have been sleeping on the seabed for more than 300 years have been thickly buried by the sand on the seabed, but they still cannot stop treasure hunters from exploring. That's it for today's show. If you haven't subscribed and liked it yet, please help me. I wish you all a nice day and see you in the next show.